everybody. Thank you so much for supporting Indie Agency News. I'm Doug Zanger, and I want to thank you for being members. If you're not members, go to indieagency.news. You can get more information about us. And another thing you can get more information about is our preferred partners. So these aren't what you would call random sponsors. So these are companies that have definitely proven that they've worked with independent agencies. They've proven that they've helped indies win. And specifically for us, we always want our preferred partners to work with existing Indie Agency News members. So I want to talk a little bit about our good friends at Path Labs. Right there. There you go. Media execution support that scales. So let's talk about this for a minute. You don't need to hire to scale media. And yeah, I know it probably sounds too good to be true, but that's what over 50 indie agencies have discovered with Path Labs. So they've really become an extension of your team. No headcount increase, no benefits, no management overhead. And we all know that executing media is getting harder and more fragmented. So Path Labs simplifies all of it so your team can focus on what they are great at. You know, things like strategy, things like creativity. And, you know, here's some data. You want to start looking at this. Here's one that's not actually in this key performance metric. They've got a 130% net dollar retention rate, 99.98% contract fulfillment. That's a big deal. Those aren't marketing numbers. These are agencies love working with us numbers. And so what I really appreciate, I've gotten a chance to get to know the team at Path Labs over the past several months, and they are great people to work with, and they're not a platform or automation tool. Experienced media pros who get it. So listen, if you're ready to streamline your media execution, not to sacrifice, check out Path Labs and all of our preferred partners at indieagency.partners. Again, thanks so much for your support and enjoy the show.
I mean, that's pre-recorded. You know what? I have a different hat on. I had the Arsenal hat on. Now I have the Mountainside hat on. It's the high school that the kids go to. Hello, everybody. I'm Doug Zanger. It is a great pleasure to welcome you to the show. No music today. No big musical intro. We're in New York, and I'm doing a little bit more low talking than I usually do because we're at a great apartment in the Lower East Side. Because tonight, speaking of Path Labs, we have our year-end party celebration and gift exchange happening at the Delancey. So if you are in New York and you want a little something to do, we're kicking it all off at 6 tonight. It is over at the Delancey. Go to indieagency.news and just go to our homepage, and you will see all the information and just swing on by. So a few other pieces of note that I'd like to share with everybody. Oh yeah, you can hear the heat in the background. Hear that hissing? It's such a New York thing. I love it. I love it. Indie Agency News Pet of the Year. We're going to extend this deadline. So the deadline technically is today, but we're going to move it to Friday, and we may move it to Monday as well. So the gist of this is that we want to celebrate the people that pets are people too, that keep us sane, that keep us chill. And you can see here we got dogs, cats, but I'm from Portland, so of course there's going to be a chicken, and of course horses as well. So whatever pet is your fancy, and whatever species is perfectly fine. And this is a People's Choice Award. So once we get all the entries in, we'll open up the voting, and then we will celebrate these furry, scaled, and feathered friends. Also, want to let you know that we have our holiday merch collection by our wonderful members at Grown in St. Louis. So I want to thank that team for putting this together. So what a great it's the indiest time of the year. So we've got socks, we've got wrapping paper, we've got hoodies, we've got mugs, we've got beanies as well. And so we do have a lot of different colors as well. And let's see. Let's see if the internet wants to cooperate here and go a little faster. Let's go, let's go, let's go. So showing you the dark ones. So you can go olive, you can choose royal. It's really thinking about it. It's thinking about it. You got black, we got dark gray, we've got red. I think the internet is not keeping up here. Regardless, you have lots and lots of options. Let your indie holiday freak flag fly. And then additionally, you can get ahead of the game by getting the this is the 2025 collection for Cannes Lions. We'll have more information about what's happening at Cannes Lions with us, let's say after the holiday, but we do have some stuff cooking. What's also cooking right now is, let's put the elephant in the room, shall we? And I'm going to bring our guests on to talk about this. Where's Spencer? Hello, gentlemen. How are you?
Great, man.
Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the Omnicom IPG merger real quick. Yeah, so here's the deal. So there's a couple of things here. Number one, if you got laid off, and it doesn't have to be Omnicom and IPG, if you're at another holdco and your job has been vamoosed, talk to us. Just absolutely talk to us. Because number one, we want you to be able to vent. And this is all off the record, private, all for you. Just if you need to let it out, you just let it out. That's 100% fine. We love this. The other thing too is we're going to talk to you a little bit about what you've done in your career. And we'll talk to you maybe about some of our members that maybe you want to reach out to. Or, and this is the one that's my favorite, is give you a little advice on starting your own agency. This might be the time to do it. And Graham and Spencer, I mean, you took the leap. What was it like when you got kicking off?
Oh man, well, I mean, we're probably 4 years into this thing, and
Yep.
The landscape's totally changed. I mean, since last week, the landscape's totally changed. There's the news of IPG Omni Holdco.biz dropping this week is not
.net. Right.
Yeah, exactly. .net. It's sent ripples, and I don't know. There's plenty to be disheartened about, but maybe for those of you who are listening that are on the receiving end of whatever this new holding company venture is, we are actually really optimistic about the state of the industry, and especially the state of what it is to be an indie, and also what it is to be a client who might potentially be looking for an indie. There for a long time, there's been a lot of default settings and speed dials and things like that out there for any client. And man, if this isn't a wake up call to encourage brands to try something new, look a little bit farther afield than maybe you have the last several decades. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. So Spencer, from the talent perspective, and here's what I would say is is really, really important, is understanding that, this sucks. It really does. That's the reality of it. And I never want to be cavalier about it, but there are so many instances where I've talked to a lot of people over the years, whether I was at Adweek or at the Drum or in this current role, where it's really good to talk to people to assess what they've done in their career thus far, and to be a little bit of an outside perspective, to be able to tell somebody, oh, you've been doing this in strategy for 8 years. Oh, here's an idea or two. Because the thing that generally happens is people will cocoon. And you know what? You have to vent. You have to mourn. You have to go through this. I get that. I completely get that. But just know that there are a lot of people out there that want to be helpful to you. And so, Spencer, from the talent side of it, what would you tell people who just got laid off and they're dealing with this right now? What would be the one or two pieces of advice that you give people?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, an unbelievably tough time. This is one of the the hardest things to have to deal with. But maybe as someone who has been in this situation before, having been laid off, I remember there was a whole mourning process and a grieving process and sort of a reappraisal of all the steps you took to get to that point, and did you make the right decisions and all of that. But I think what I ended up finding, and again, not trying to be cavalier here, but getting laid off in the course of my career was one of the best things that ever happened to me. There was an incredible silver lining moment that happened where just I was forced to take a step back and to reappraise and to sort of focus in on what I cared about and what my intention is moving forwards in my career and what I want to accomplish, and almost allowed a little bit of time to kind of double down and refocus. So again, obviously like an intense, difficult time, but also a time for reflection and a time to sort of refocus and double down and make 2026 a year of focus.
Yeah, no, that's great. And so again, as a reminder, just get some time with us. If you need to vent, please do. And again, we are here to be of service to all of you. Also, you may have noticed that last week we were running our show Year One, which is hosted by one of our members, co-founder of Outer Kind, Christian Ganny, in Denver. And that show is great because it talks about all of the things that founders dealt with in their first year. And some agencies are relatively new, others have been around for a long time, but hearing those stories are really, really important. So we've been pulling a lot of clips from that we will be dripping out. We'll definitely be dripping out here on LinkedIn, but I'm working on a supercut. So I think it's going to be like 90 minutes. So I'm working on getting that done. And we'll get that out.
Length. Yeah, I was going to say
it's feature length, right? Exactly. I mean, it's not like Meet Joe Black 3 hours long or like The Irishman, but no, but our hope and our goal is to give everybody a little bit of inspiration. And like I said, we are over 300 member agencies strong, and there are people out there that are that are very, very willing to help. Also, if you are freshly freelance, we will have a little bit of a little deal going for you so that you can just stay in the mix and be with a group of people in a community that is incredibly supportive. And, we want to be of service to our members, but also to the indie agency community at large. So today we are talking about work. So the main shows that we do are Meet an Indie Agency. We do indie thinking. That's broadly anything. So, if Graham and Spencer came to me and said, we want to talk about this, we'd be like, cool, we're going to build a show. And then we also are going to bring back fun and games in 2026. The game shows will come back. But the biggest one that we're going to be focusing a lot on in 2026 is indie work, where we talk about briefs, we talk about strategies, we talk about executions, we talk about lessons learned along the way, and we talk about how to sell in great work. So we have a very simple structure because we want to talk about the work, because the work, the thinking is behind the work. And we want people, especially marketers and brands, to hear the thinking behind really some great work. Additionally, this isn't about work that is now, though we are going to talk about really recent work here with Gus. It could be from 5 years ago. It could be from 10 years ago. Good work is good work, and the thinking matters more than ever. So today we are going to talk about Away. And I'm going to go ahead and run this 60 first because I want to build the context of this first. So everybody sit back and enjoy. All right, you. All right, hold on. Let's get this off of here. removed from studio. Where did you go? Thing. There we go. Boy, that was anticlimactic. I'm just going to say this right now. Can jurists, one show, like all the shows, be ready. This is so good.
Too kind, man.
So good.
Thank you, Doug.
Oh my God. I
know we
saw
try
that
to bring
Jamie
the
sent. Yeah, no, it's like Jamie sent this over, and props to Jamie. And I looked at this, and you do that thing, like I've known you guys for a while, and so I do that thing where I shake my head and I'm like smiling. I'm like, these guys, this is fantastic. So number one, kudos. It is outstanding work. But I do want to dig through a little bit on this process, and like I said, we have a structure to this show. So I want to start with the brief. So talk about Away and the brief that you received from them, and let's go from there.
Sure.
Who wants that
Spencer,
one?
you need it?
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead,
think
Spencer.
You want to, okay. Well, I mean, I guess even going a little bit farther back than the brief, it started with some really early conversations with the folks at Away, and it was really clear from the jump that they were as ambitious with this project as we always strive to be. Like there's no doubt that Away kind of created this category of modern travel 10 years ago, and for all of us sort of fan boys and girls and people out there of advertising and brands and marketing, like they did it. And at the same time, they were aware of the fact that over the course of the last 10 years or so, everybody and their mom has aped exactly what they did and stole their thunder a little bit. And they needed to do something that was truly disruptive and in a way, like redefine a category that they defined a decade ago. And that's just,
right.
That's music to our ears as people that love this kind of stuff. Sorry, go ahead, Doug.
No, I was just going to say, and so that's interesting. The thing about Away is I had forgotten that they've been around for a minute, because when I look at this, it takes me back to the original days of Away, where I'm like, this is fresh. And so that I think that's really interesting, because in a lot of ways it does become this introduction or reintroduction or a refreshing of people. And so I think that the good part is there's a base awareness of the brand. So the brief really informed that, and you're right. What a great opportunity to do something really unique. But let's dig in a little bit, Spencer. Let's dig into the strategy a little bit. So we've got the brief. Now let's talk a little bit about strategically where the thinking went from there.
Yeah, 100%. I think what's interesting is that when Away came to us, I think they knew that they wanted to reestablish the sort of this iconic status that they have had over all these years. And what does it mean to be a modern icon in the travel space? And, when we started digging into the work, I think we knew that, as a company that believes that like the big ideas of the future are going to be a lot less single standalone scripts and a lot more big ideas and system thoughts, I think we really tried to sort of dig in on what is that cultural tension that is happening in their category, in the travel space at the moment, that we could really sort of dig into. For us, having that cultural hook is so important to making work that really cuts through and resonates and has a conversational aspect of it. And I think when we took a look at what being an iconic traveler in the modern day looks like, I think right away we saw sort of a bit of a tired trope in the space, right? This feeling of vacation almost becoming this copy and paste thing for so many people, where you take the trip that you've already seen on Instagram to get the selfie that your 5 other friends have already taken, with the Santorini sunset or the Leaning Tower of Pisa and holding the background. And for so many people, just like the copy and paste of it all was what travel was all about, doing the thing that somebody else had always done. And when we really tried to unpack it, it feels like true, exciting, life-changing, game-changing travel isn't anything like a copy and paste. It's adventurous, it's spontaneous, and quite frankly, it's you're kind of living on the edge a little bit, trying something that is truly new. And of course, to us, when you have luggage like Away that you trust, that you know is going to be there, you can be more spontaneous and more adventurous. So to us, that is where the seed started to come together for the idea.
So let's talk about the execution of this. So walk us through what the story is. And what's interesting is, and I'm not saying that they're the same, they're not, but the recent Lucid work from Giant Spoon with Timothée Chalamet, it has the same, it's a similar milieu in that it's adventurous, but it has its own unique story, which is really, really hard to do. And I love all of the, like, just the little touches, and you have to rewatch it to be like, oh, like, what is going on here? So explain the story, and then talk a little bit about the behind the scenes, because this is big work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's probably worth mentioning that this is the first story of many. You know,
Sure.
This is a platform, a relaunch of the brand. This idea of get away with more. You know, travel should feel like you are getting away with something at its best is where this all started. And this first story is actually a holiday story, which is quite typical at the moment when you see, you know, every day someone's dropping a new sappy, saccharine, you know, story of what it is to travel around the holidays, right? So the combination of those two things is really where the magic came from on this one. You know, how do you inspire people to get off the beaten path and get away with something at the holidays? And that's effectively what you're seeing here in this story, is a group of friends who have decided to do something that's fairly traditional, have a holiday feast, but do so in a way that's completely unexpected, that's very mischievous, that really feels like you're getting away with something by breaking into an active airport, you know, finding an abandoned hangar to set up your feast in and go at it. You know, that really is kind of like at its simplest the reason that this was created and why it's on air now.
Well, no, and I was just going to say, like, the beauty of your explanation is simplicity. It's easy to understand what's going on there. And Spencer, you were going to say something. Apologies for interrupting. What were you going to add to that?
No, I was just going to say, for us, it was just really fun to try to have like a misdirection at every turn, right? You know, like, oh, what is the last thing you'd expect to find in the suitcase? Oh, an entire feast packed perfectly to be able to pull it off. Or even the last place you'd want to be during the holiday times is traveling in an airport, right? It's usually the thing that has your eyes rolling, and it becomes the canvas for their grand adventure. So seeing possibility, seeing, you know, that creativity in places where others don't, felt like something that we were really excited about trying to bring forward.
Right. Where did you shoot it?
In Budapest, in Hungary.
That's right. I forgot about that. Did you have mushroom soup while you were there? Please tell me you had mushroom soup.
Yeah. We ate a lot of good food, that's for sure.
A lot of paprika involved.
So much paprika. And it's so good. And
it's delicious.
Hungarian mushroom soup is one of the greatest foods on the planet. There's no question about it. Let's not turn this into a cooking show. And the two of you, despite your youthful visage and just the reality of you being young, you've had a lot of experience in this business. But what were some new things that you learned along the way in this process, whether it was during the brief, strategy, filming, edit? What was something new that maybe you learned along the way this time?
Yeah. I mean, I think every production you learn something new. That's one of the best parts about this job. You know, you're always immersing yourself in new categories and in getting your mind into, you know, what people care about and think about. So, I mean, every production is its own unique flower. I don't know, for us, for this whole project was a really quick turn, right? From the time I got briefed, it needed to be on air. It was a really fast turnaround. And I think for us, we embraced collaboration across the board, right? Really, you know, I think we always think we're at our best when we're sort of feeling like an extension of our partners' teams. And we really leaned in on that front and kind of worked hand in hand to get to an idea we're all really excited about and felt like we could make. And then even when it came time to doing the making, I think we we're really excited about our director on this is this awesome guy named Emiliano Granado, who traditionally is a photographer, right? And has, has just an incredibly strong eye and is really getting more and more into video. And I think right from the jump, we just got the sense that like this was a guy we could really work with, really dial things in together. He had an extremely collaborative spirit. He brought that energy, brought that mischievous kind of thing from the jump. And I don't know, I think there's a big spirit of holding hands, and we know we're all moving fast together, but we assembled a team that really was designed to, one team, one dream this thing and get it over the finish line in a really tight turnaround.
Yeah. Graham, anything on your end that you, that was new to you?
I've never tried to shoot anything in an active airport before. Turns out the FAA doesn't love that.
So it was an active airport.
Here's a fun fact.
Okay, here we go.
The first day of shooting was mostly in interiors in this airport, and there was an actual air show going on outside. So while we were trying to be really focused and really dialed in, trying to get way too much done in a day, there were planes doing barrel rolls and backflips and people parachuting onto the tarmac outside.
Yeah. One of my favorite moments is we were getting ready to set up for a shoot with this big sort of kind of airplane in the background. And as we're getting ready, we literally see it take off, in the distance, because it was part of the air show. So it was just like, luckily it came back. But, it was so many things that were so many logistics being juggled to get it over the finish line.
That is so wild. All right, so where does the story go from here? What can you divulge? I don't want you to give away too much, but what's next in the story? Because Spencer, you brought up a great point. Platforms are greater than individual spots, and this is a great platform to work from. So what's next?
Yeah,
without giving too much away.
Yeah, I mean, I think without giving too much away, I think for us the thing that we're really excited about when it comes to Get Away with More is this feeling of making travel feel adventurous and truly exciting and truly new again, right? It's something that for a brand that came out on the scene and really changed the game fundamentally, that having this banner, this calling card, if you will, to at every turn remind people that travel should be more adventurous, shouldn't be a kind of a copy and paste of what other people are doing, feels like a really rich vein that we're excited to continue to explore with them.
Right.
It's an internal call to action as much as it is a consumer call to action.
That's true. It's a good point.
Everything must be have a little bit of an air of mischievousness and feel like you're getting away with something, not just the no running of the normal playbook will do.
I was just going to say too, because I also think that when something new and fresh like this happens internally, teams get very excited about it, and it does give some really good tailwinds. Final question on this, and I love this, and I'd like both of you to respond to this. Graham, we'll start with you. How do you selling great work to a client like this?
It's a great question, and to be honest, the simple answer is we don't. Like, we've always tried to make it a point to not sell as much as possible. I think in past lives there would have been a rip video and there would have been a big song and dance and 300 pages of setup as to why this is the right idea. But with a partner like Away and with an idea like this, we just did our best to come through with like a truly ownable position and a really cut through way of bringing that to life. And I think certainly we collaborated on how to dial it in perfectly, but there was no dog and pony show here. We sort of left the song and dance at home and tried to just focus on the right idea for the right time.
Spencer, anything to add there?
Yeah, completely agree with what Graham said. And maybe other than that, I think just we really cared, I think we were passionate about the brand. We knew that there's an amazing story to be told, and we really tried our darndest to bring something special we could all be proud of to life. Caring goes a long way in a world where it's way easier not to.
Oh, there's the t-shirt. Jesus.
I'm gonna cry.
Spencer the Sage. Oh my goodness. All right, there's your new nickname. Listen, gentlemen, always a great pleasure to chat with both of you. Congratulations. It really is remarkable work. Really appreciate you taking the time today. I'm going to put you backstage, but
Thanks, you kind,
thanks for
Doug.
joining us, and have a great holiday. I'll be
You too,
right
man.
with you guys.
Appreciate
I
everything.
can't wait to see the winner of the Pet of the Year awards.
Get in on it.
We already actively getting in on it.
Okay. All right. That it's so fun. It's so fun talking to our members. It really, really is. And as I mentioned before, and again, I'm just going to remind everybody on this one. If you got caught in the slipstream of Omnicom, IPG, really anything, it doesn't have to be only IPG or Omnicom. If you did get laid off, please go to our LinkedIn page. You can kind of see the big blue thing there. Just go ahead and click on that link. We want to talk to you. We want you to be able to vent. We want you to be able to have your moment to express yourself. And then we want to take a moment to help you think through some possibilities as well. Again, to all of our members, I can't thank you enough. If you'd like to learn more about membership, go to indieagency.news. On behalf of everybody at Indie Agency News, I'm Doug Zanger. We'll see you next time.